Welcome back. And today, because it's a Dutch week, I thought it would be great to do 10 unique weird things. Kind of like I did with the Philippines, but this time it's, well, of the Netherlands, of course, Dutch week. And I found 10 things that are they unique? I think they're also very common for me, but I think they're maybe unique for you. So let's go. Let's see it.
Let's go!
So let's start with the first, punctual timing. We saw in many videos before about Filipino time, but here in Netherlands, time is really a thing. And my friends, but let's talk about my dad. He always gets mad because of the timing issues. My mom isn't really that punctual like my dad is. I'm like in between, but let's be honest, more towards my mom's side. Because in the end, I think if I look back at it, the only when I was really on time was when I was in the army. I was always punctual, but when I was outside of the army with my normal friends, the first time they didn't know I was gonna be late, so they were really like mad-ish because they're still friends. And afterwards they just expect it, and I'm always too late. I'm trying to get on time, but I'm always too late. Maybe Filipino time, maybe it's inherited in my own blood, so I can't do anything about it. But I also have another Asian friend, you might know him, as in Stefan. And whenever me and Stefan have a meeting or something, or we have somewhere to go, we are always late, and all my friends know, and his friends know as well. So I mean, if your friends know, it should be alright, right? Number two, Queensday or Kingsday nowadays. It's a national holiday for us. We celebrate the birthday of the king. And we used to celebrate the birthday of the queen or similar-ish that day. But actually, it's just an excuse to party. And I can still remember, for me, those were the best parties back in the days. Like everybody just brought their booze and went to Amsterdam, and well, in their cities there were all kinds of parties and craziness and everything is happening, and it was always an adventure. And I think afterwards they had like some troubles of getting people out of the city because everybody would wanted to hang there. And I think after the years they just thought, well, it isn't safe anymore for the regular or the population. So they did the outer cities, and now there's more like a paid events because they can't have their stages in the inner cities anymore. So unfortunately, now you have to buy your ticket, and the craziness is like slightly down because it's more like a festival vibe nowadays. But I used to love those days. Hopefully we're gonna get something back and more like the inner cities, maybe new parties, but it was always crazy and adventure. I really want to go back to that, but it's kind of unique, I think. Number three, Kermis. Well, it's the Dutch saying, it's like a traveling fair. And I needed to say this because it's more for the northerners, like Holland, kind of ish. In the south, it's more carnival, different thing. Don't want to talk about it, but it's more their kind. I do want to talk about Kermis, the traveling fair. Traveling fair always goes from city to city or village to village, whatever where you live. And Heemskerk, the town where I used to live, was like one big event. It's only 3 days a year, but the people in the town around it will always live up to that day. Everybody is saving up just to spend it all in those 3 days. The thing is, when I was younger, it's about the fair itself, like doing all kinds of the rides and stuff. But growing older, it's more about the parties and all the things around it. And it used to be such a nice thing. Everybody will meet each other. You haven't seen each other for such a long time. You talk, drink beer, and do all kinds of things. But it gets kind of crazy out there because everybody's like drinking until the morning and then go on the next day. Everybody's already free from work because they will wait until that moment. So I think you have to see it, and it's like like Queensday or Kingsday. If you see it, then you understand. But it's such a town thing. Everybody's hyping it up, and it's really fun to do. So it's really unique for us in like the north, I guess. Number 4, the food situation. It's every day it's bread. Like when you go to the Philippines, it's like everyday rice, and here it's everyday bread, especially in the morning and the afternoon. At night, it's like something warm. That's like normal what it is. But it's because it's like the country. It's quick, efficient, functional, and it's all about that. And it's just like see the pictures around me. It's like regular bread with like condiments or spread on it, and just make it quick, and easy. And for me, I used to love it as well. And it has a time I was always like in school. I always got like a can or a plastic with bread in it, and then that's your food. And nowadays I just make all kinds of warm meals, so I like it more. And for me, I like rice more than bread for sure. But still, bread is a real occurrence, and my dad can eat it like morning, afternoon, and at night. He doesn't care. It's like a real Dutch thing, I guess. Number 5, ice skating. I think it's also a thing in other countries, of course, but for me it's a specific thing because I used to love it. It's like a thing passed on from generation to generation. My dad will taught me like nearby ice or no nearby water that turned into ice because of the winter, and then there's always a guessing game if the ice is strong enough, and then after that just a whole lot of laps on the ice and fun with the other friends, of course. But it's also well known in our the Olympics. The Dutch are really good at it. Really have like world record holders and stuff. So at ice skating we're pretty good. And even now with the speed races, the small ones, we're good at that as well. I think it's just a natural thing for us. But we also have like one special tour. It's called the Elfstedentocht. I think it's translated into 11 city tour, but it doesn't really translate like it is. It's just Elfstedentocht. And it has like 200 kilometers of stuff. It's like a natural waters. And because of the global warming, unfortunately, the last years we couldn't do it. And by the last years, I mean like 1997 was the last one. So nowadays we don't do it anymore. We know one specific guy, even though it's not ice skating, I still want to say it. He did it by swimming, like 200 kilometers swimming, and he did it for a good cause. I think it was cancer. But that's a really good thing to do. But it's 200 kilometers, so it was so long. So it's all natural ice, and that's why, because we can do it. It's still a special thing, and I think it's unique to the Netherlands. Number 6. I think it's unique, but it's also maybe common in different European countries as well. And it's like a cheese plank. It's very weird to translate, but I think that's exactly what it is. What it just means like the snacks they serve on like parties and stuff. Whenever I go to France, I always find it hilarious. I go there and they have like you see the pictures around me. Lots of cheese, and I like cheese, but my friends love cheese, and I think most of the Dutch do. And it's also the smelly kind. It's not like the normal kind. It's like the blue cheese and stuff. You can smell it from like the neighbors will actually smell that smell, and also all kinds of. I think they just try to make you have bad breath or something because they always have the other fish dish as well that comes with it. It's like haring and stuff. It's like the Dutch sushi with onions and that kind of stuff, and I'm not particularly a fan of it, but it's always on some kind of table and people love it. For me, just give me chips or something and I'm good, or bitterballen. But these smelly kinds of snacks are pretty common here, and for me it's very unique. Number 7, bikes. I need to say it. I mean, it's everybody already told you probably, and everybody knows it. Holland is or the Netherlands is really well known because of bicycling and bikes. There are some stats out there that are crazy. I think Stefan will put them in somewhere. As a small child, everybody got taught how to ride a bike, first with like side wheels, and after that your dad will teach you how to do it yourself. So it was always a fun thing to do, I guess, when you have child to do it. I think my mom got taught it by on a later age, so it will be it's hilarious, and I don't think we have footage of it, but I think it will be a hilarious sight to see. But everybody has a bike. I think after a while people go from bike to like scooter to a car, and people don't go back to a bike. But because it's so efficient, it's so cost effective as well, everybody just uses it for small places to go to, because it's all flat land, so it's really easy to use. You don't have struggles with any of it. And on a later age, everybody just, my parents I guess, will put bikes and take bikes with the car, put them on top and go everywhere and just ride around and have fun with it. So it's also a fun thing to do. So that's it. Number 8, festivals. Something I really love about the Netherlands, and it's like it's a summertime thing, especially. It's like from around May to August, September, and we have so many. I won't ask Stefan for the stats again, but I think it's like in the amount of time that has, it's like 2 or 3 festivals a day combined. It's crazy. But I am biased because I need to say we have the best. Don't come at me. I don't care. We have the best festivals. And especially for the music all those kind of musics are all around, and like in a festival you have so many different areas, it's really hard to explain everything, but I'll show you by pictures around me that there are so many flavors and so many music kinds. For everybody there's something you like, and I can't wait. Every year I'm just waiting around to May, and May is the first one for me, where I see my friends. I haven't talked to them because they're across the country, and we all go and connect with each other on those kinds of festivals, and it's so good. And for everybody it's a perfect place to find fun and happiness, I guess. It's maybe unique, it may not be, because there are everywhere festivals, but in Holland we have the best. And number 9, our way of greeting. It's very common for us to have like the 3 kisses, from man to woman and from woman to woman, and for man to man it's normally just a handshake. And for me, I never thought that was a weird thing or anything. I thought it was the common thing ever, and everybody does it. But after a while, when you go traveling and I see other friends and family, or see other countries, you see there are differences in the amount of kisses, like 1 or maybe 2, or maybe a hug or something. So that's for us it's 3 kisses always. So that's always the struggle when you meet somebody from another place. What's the common thing to do? And you just ask, I think. But for me, friends and family here is also different, because I always do handshake or hugs, depending on if you haven't seen somebody or how close you are to somebody, because that's also different. And nowadays, I think with friends, it's very common to do hugs or anything or something instead of a normal handshake, because it's so emotional detached. I think like just a handshake, it hasn't any value. It's like for friends, I think. It's more common to do a hug. And number 10, and the final one, and it's actually celebrating birthdays. I will like explain the very generic first bit, and then I might evolve for my own side. But whenever we celebrate a birthday, you always go, of course, to the house of the one that's celebrating, and you will just say hi to the host when you come in. And then when you see the circle and where the people are sitting next to each other, you go around and do the greetings, like I said before, or the handshake or the 3 kisses, and then you will actually congratulate the person you are greeting with the person whose birthday it is. So I think that's very unique as well to the Netherlands, especially. I never heard of it, like congratulate with the birthday celebrant behind you. We may not have a connection with at all, so it's kind of a bit strange, I guess, but it's very normal to do. But from my perspective, I always saw the differences in between my father's side, like the Dutch birthdays and the family around it, and my mother's Filipino celebrations. Some similarities, of course, they both have food, but it's more elaborate, I think, with the Filipino ones than the Dutch. But over the years that evolved as well. And the other Asian parties I went to was, of course, the Stefan's family, the Indonesian ones, and those two are very much. They're very much alike. Like lots of similarities. Like it's all about food and stuff, and everybody brings food, and lots of. It can go on and on. The party doesn't really stop or have a time frame, and that's met at Dutch. It's a more like not efficient, but it's more in a time frame, I guess. But I must say there is a difference nowadays with the old school and new school. I won't throw anybody under the bus, but I must say the newer versions of it, it's more thought out. It's less with a time schedule. It's more food and stuff. I think we're evolving with the birthday celebrations as well. So that's a good thing to have, and I always have both sides, so I can celebrate both in their own way, and I like it. And that's it. We did 1 to 10. Maybe not unique or weird to you, but from my perspective, it was a nice way to say what I found unique or I liked about the Netherlands. It's also a like thing about the Netherlands as well. If you have your own, let me know in the comments. I would love to read your own opinion on it and what you found unique about it. So I have nothing more to say. Just leave me a comment and I'll read it. So thank you all for watching and see you next time. Deuces. Record them up.
Okay, camera.
So that really helps out. Bruh. It's also nowadays